I'm Khalid and I'm in my 20s, from the UK, born to Yemeni parents, and I grew up with a mix of their traditions and British ways. Friday prayers with baba and then fish and chips on the way home. I was at uni studying engineering when everything changed because of Azra. She was in one of my lectures, this Turkish girl who just stood out. We got paired for a group project and that's how we clicked. At first it was just us geeking out over lessons, staying up late in the library, arguing about whose answer was cleaner. We'd grab kebabs after, laughing about some daft thing our mate said. Azra was sharp, proper funny, and didn't let anyone mess her about. Over time, it wasn't just about the project. We'd talk for hours, about our families, what we wanted from life, even silly stuff like where we'd travel if money wasn't a thing. By second year, I was proper gone for her. She wasn't just beautiful, though mate, she was unreal, with these dark eyes that could stop you dead. It was deeper than that. She got me, you know, like we'd sit on a bench outside the lecture hall, pretending to go over notes, but really just chatting about everything. One night, we were walking through campus, and she was banging on about wanting to work in tech in Dubai someday, maybe travel the world. I just listened, thinking, this is it, she's the one. I never said it out loud, didn't want to make it weird, but I was falling hard. We weren't officially a couple, but it felt like we were heading there. We text all the time, meet up between classes, share stupid memes. I started picturing a future, marriage, kids, a house where we'd argue over whose turn it was to do the dishes. Azra made me feel like anything was possible. I'd catch myself smiling like an idiot when she'd text me something random, like a photo of her coffee with a caption saying, "Look, Habibi." My parents, though, they're proper traditional. They came to the UK from Yemen before I was born, and they've always been about family, traditions, and keeping our culture alive. My dad's got this calm, steady way about him, like nothing shakes him. My mum's the glue, always making sure everyone's fed and sorted. I respect them to bits. They're words like law to me. Growing up, they tell me stories about Yemen, about how family is everything, how you don't just live for yourself, but for everyone tied to you. I nodded along, never thinking it'd clash with what I wanted. I was daydreaming about how to tell Azra I loved her. Maybe take her for a walk by the river, say something smooth. Not that I'm smooth, mind you. I even thought about bringing her home to meet my parents, see what they'd think. They'd like her, I reckoned. She's respectful, smart, and knows how to handle herself. But I didn't know what was coming. My parents had plans I never saw coming, and they were about to flip my world upside down. I remember one night, lying in bed, thinking about Azra. I'd just seen her that day, and she'd been teasing me about my rubbish attempt at Turkish pronunciation. I was grinning, planning to ask her to grab dinner sometime, maybe make things official. I prayed, asking Allah to guide me, keep my family safe, all that. I had no clue that soon I'd be facing a choice that'd tear me in two. Love's a funny thing, innit? Feels like it's all you need, until family and duty come knocking. So, I was in my final year at uni, still thinking about Azra, about how to take things to the next level. We were closer than ever, spending hours chatting, texting, and planning to meet for coffee that day. I was proper smitten, mate, dreaming about a future with her. Then, out of nowhere, my parents dropped a bombshell that flipped everything upside down. It was a random evening, right after dinner. I was chilling in the living room, scrolling through my phone, when my parents called me into the kitchen for a serious talk. My stomach did that thing where it just sinks, like I knew something heavy's coming. They sit me down, and my dad starts talking about family, duty, and keeping ties strong with Yemen. Then they hit me with it. They've promised my uncle, my father's brother back in Yemen, that I'd marry his daughter, Hind, my first cousin. I'm sat there, proper gobsmacked, like someone's just pulled the rug out from under me. Hind, I barely remember her. We met once when I was a kid, maybe 8, during a family trip to Yemen. All I can picture is this vague image of a girl with pigtails hiding behind her mom. That's it. No face, no connection, nothing. I asked them what she's like now, trying to wrap my head around it. They pull out a photo on my mum's phone. She's beautiful, no doubt, with this calm, put-together look. But it doesn't hit me. She's a stranger. They go on about how this marriage is a done deal, how it will keep the family tight, strengthen the bond between us here and back in Yemen. My uncle's been counting on this for years, they say, and they gave their word. In our culture, that's massive. Breaking a promise like that isn't just awkward, it's like spitting on your family's honor. My parents weren't shouting or anything. They were calm, like this is the most natural thing in the world. But I was freaking out inside. I love my parents, yeah? They've done everything for me. Left Yemen, grafted hard to give me a good life here. My dad's like a rock, like he's seen it all and still stands tall. My mum's the heart of the family, always making sure everyone's looked after. Their word means the world to me. I've never gone against them, not properly. But this felt like a knife to the chest. I was thinking about Azra, her laugh, the way she looked at me and the way she made me feel like I was actually someone. How was I supposed to just switch that off? I tried to stay cool and ask more about Hind. They said she was educated, religious, good family values, all the stuff you'd want, I guess. But it wasn't clicking. I didn't know her, didn't feel anything for her. They showed me another photo, and yeah, she was stunning, but it's not about that. She wasn't Azra. I was sitting there, nodding, while my brain was screaming, what about what I want? That night, I was laying in bed, staring at the ceiling, my head proper spinning. I kept seeing Azra's face. Then I'd think about my parents, how disappointed they'd be if I said no. It wasn't just about them. It was the whole family, the uncles, aunties, cousins back in Yemen. Saying no would be like blowing up a bridge we've all been building for years. I pray, asking Allah for some kind of sign, but I'm just lost. I was thinking, do I fight for Azra and risk letting my family down? Or do I suck it up and marry Hind and hope it somehow worked itself out? I was torn, mate, proper torn, and didn't see a way out. I decided I had to at least try talking to them about Azra to see if there was any wiggle room. A few days later, I sat them down. I was nervous, yeah, but I kept it respectful. I told them about Azra, how we met at uni, how she was smart, kind, and got me like no one else. I said she was proper decent, someone they'd like if they met her. They listened, which was more than I expected. My mum even smiled a bit, said Azra sounded lovely, but then my dad cut in, calm but firm, and brought it back to the promise they made to my uncle. They weren't budging. It was like talking to a brick wall. They went on about how this marriage with my cousin, Hind, wasn't just about me. It was about the whole family, keeping ties strong across the family. My uncle had been planning this for years, and they gave their word. Breaking it would have been like slapping him in the face. I got it. I completely understood the culture, but it was killing me. I was thinking about Azra and the way she treated me, and I felt like I was betraying her just having that conversation. I tried another angle, mentioned that in Islam I could technically marry more than one wife. I wasn't keen on it, sounded like a headache, and honestly I only wanted Azra. I just thought it might have been a way to keep everyone happy. My dad shut that down quick. He said it wasn't practical, not fair to either woman, and they wanted me focused on Hind, on honouring the family's commitment. My mum nodded along and said that Hind was a good match for me. Educated, religious, family-oriented. I was just sitting there, feeling like I was drowning. I asked about Hind, trying to picture her. They showed me more photos, and yeah, she was beautiful, but just not for me. It wasn't just about looks. Azra was the one I'd spent years getting to know, laughing with, dreaming about. To me, Hind was a stranger, and no amount of photos changed that. I tried to imagine a life with her, but it felt like I was forcing it, like trying to fit a square peg in a round hole. I saw Azra at uni a few days later, and it was torture. She was her usual self, joking about some lecturer's dodgy PowerPoint slides, and I was just nodding, barely keeping it together. I wanted to tell her everything, how I felt, what my parents wanted, but I couldn't. How do you even start that chat? Hey, I love you, but I might have to marry my cousin. I was stuck, mate, proper stuck. I started digging into arranged marriages, reading stuff online, asking my older cousins. Turned out, loads of people in our community did it, and it often worked. My parents' marriage was arranged, and they were rock solid, but it wasn't what I pictured for myself. I prayed loads, did istikhara, asked Allah for guidance. I was looking for a sign, anything to make it clear, but it was just fog in my head. I was torn between my heart and my duty. Azra was my dream, the one who made my heart race. But my parents, my family, they were my foundation. Letting them down would have been like cutting off a piece of me. I was up at night thinking about Azra's smile, then my parents' disappointed faces if I said no. It wasn't just about me, it was the whole family, the uncles, aunties, cousins in Yemen. I was stuck in the middle, and no matter what I chose, it felt like I was losing something massive. After weeks of stressing, praying, and going round in circles, I made the call. I told my parents I'd marry Hind. It felt like I ripped my own heart out, but I couldn't bear letting them down. Their word to my uncle, the family honor, it was bigger than me. I couldn't bring myself to tell Azra how I felt. Instead, I just let her go. I stopped texting, stopped hanging out at uni. It was cowardice, probably, but telling her the truth would have broken me. She probably thought I was a right prat, fading out like that. The marriage got sorted quickly. My parents were chuffed, making calls to Yemen, planning everything. I flew out there for the ceremony, feeling like I was in a daze. I met Hind properly for the first time, and it was weird, mate. She was polite, quiet, and yeah, beautiful, but it was like meeting someone at a job interview, not a wife. There was no spark, no connection. We exchanged a few words, mostly small talk, and then the marriage was done. Just like that, I was a husband. I kept thinking, this is my life now, but it didn't feel real. After the wedding, we moved to the Gulf. I landed a decent engineering job, good pay, nice flat in a shiny city. Hind settled in, and we started trying to build a life together. At first, it was rough. I didn't love her, didn't even know her. Our chats were surface level, about the house, what was for dinner, the weather. I went through the motions, trying to be a good husband, but my head was elsewhere. I caught myself thinking about Azra, wondering what she was doing, if she was happy. It was like a punch to the gut every time her face popped into my mind. Hind then got pregnant, and things started to shift. Seeing her carry our first kid, a boy, changed how I saw her. She was strong, handled the pregnancy like a champ, always calm even when she was knackered. When our son was born, it was like a switch flipped. Holding him, seeing Hind smile despite the exhaustion, I felt something new. She wasn't just a stranger anymore, she was the mother of my kid. A couple of years later, we had a daughter, and it was the same. Hind was an amazing mum, mate. Patient, loving, always putting the kids first. She was up at all hours, soothing them, singing lullabies in Arabic, making sure they were happy. Living with her, I started to notice the little things, the way she organized the house, how she made sure I had my favorite tea in the cupboard, how she laughed at my rubbish jokes. Slowly, I grew to love her. It wasn't the same as what I felt for Azra. That was all fire and butterflies. This was quieter, steadier. I loved her, not because I was supposed to, but because she was good, proper good. She was my partner, someone I could rely on. We were a team, raising our kids, building a home. It wasn't perfect, mind you. Sometimes, I still thought about Azra, about what could have been. Those moments hit hard, especially when I was alone, driving to work or lying awake at night. But I didn't dwell on it too long. Hind and the kids were my reality, and they were a blessing. I prayed every night, thanking Allah for them, for the life we had. Hind made it work, and I tried my best to do the same. I didn't know if I'd ever fully let go of Azra in my head, but I was committed to this life, to making it good for Hind and our kids. Alright mate, just finished Khalid's story, and wow, what a journey he went through. This guy was proper torn, wasn't he? Caught between his love for Azra, this Turkish girl he met at uni, who he was absolutely smitten with, and the weight of his family's expectations to marry his cousin Hind from Yemen. It's the kind of dilemma that hits you right in the chest, choosing between your heart and your duty to your parents, who you respect so much. Khalid's story is something a lot of people can relate to, especially in communities where arranged marriages are a big deal. What really got me was how Khalid made peace with it. He didn't love Hind at first, said it felt like a job interview when they met, but over time, seeing her as a mom to their 2 kids, building a life together, he grew to love her. That's some real growth. Arranged marriages like Khalid's are super common in places like Afghanistan, Pakistan, India, and across the Middle East and North Africa. It's a cultural thing, tying families together, keeping traditions alive. I'm curious, mates. Have any of you been through this? Maybe your parents set you up with someone, or you're facing that pressure now. Did you follow your heart, or did you go with duty like Khalid? How did it turn out? Drop your stories in the comments, because I reckon there's loads of you out there with similar experiences, and it'd be class to hear how you navigated it. And what about our brothers and sisters who haven't found someone yet? There's so many out there still looking for a partner, and it's not always easy. Some might not have the chance to meet someone like Azra organically, or maybe they're open to their family stepping in. If you're single, would you consider an arranged marriage if it was offered? Like, if your parents found someone they thought was a good match, would you trust them to make that call, knowing you might grow to love them like Khalid did with Hind? Or is it too much of a leap? Let's get that convo going below. If you rate stories like these, hit that subscribe button, give a like, and share this with your mates. It's a proper thought-provoking one, and I'd love to see more people chime in with their takes. Comment below with your thoughts. Have you been in Khalid's shoes? Would you go for an arranged marriage? More stories coming soon, inshallah.